Someone who hurt you will watch God elevate you. Let this sentence sink deep into your spirit, because it's not just a quote, it's a prophecy over your life. You have been carrying wounds that nobody sees. You have cried in silence, questioning why certain people used you, why they lied to you, why they walked away as if your heart didn't matter. You kept wondering, God, why did you allow this? Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you expose them? But hear this, God saw everything, every intention, every hidden motive, every private conversation you never heard. He saw the laughter behind your back. He saw the betrayal. He saw the manipulation. And still, He didn't allow it to destroy you. Right now, you are standing in a chapter that feels confusing. You feel delayed. You feel forgotten. You feel like you're losing while others are winning. But heaven has a different story. You are not losing. God is positioning. You are not forgotten. God is writing. You are not behind. God is protecting. And the very people who thought they got away with hurting you, the ones who thought your story was over, the ones who assumed you were too weak to rise again, they will watch God lift you. Not because you need to prove anything, not because you want revenge, but because God always completes the story He starts, and you are entering the chapter called elevation. This is just the beginning. Scene 1 lays the foundation. What hurt you will not have the final say. God will. Let's move into the journey.
Listen carefully, because this part is where your story shifts. There was a moment in your life, maybe recently, maybe years ago, when someone hurt you so deeply that it changed the way you trust. It may have been a friend who used your kindness, a family member who betrayed your heart, a partner who broke promises, or a person who pretended to love you while silently tearing you down. And you kept asking yourself, why did this happen to me? Why didn't God protect me from this? But what if I told you, God did protect you, just not in the way you expected? You see, sometimes God doesn't stop people from hurting you. He allows it because He knows what you don't know. He sees conversations you will never hear. He sees intentions hidden behind smiles. He sees the things people say about you when you're not in the room. He sees what they planned and what they wished for you. And still, He protected you. You're thinking, how is this protection? I was broken. Yes, you were broken, but you were not destroyed, and that is the evidence of God's covering. The betrayal didn't crush you. The pain didn't poison you. The rejection didn't end you. The heartbreak didn't harden you. Instead, God used it to open your eyes, to separate you from people who could not go with you into your destiny, to pull you out of relationships that were secretly draining your spirit, to teach you the difference between those who clap for you and those who compete with you. This pain was not a punishment, it was a redirection. Maybe they thought you needed them. Maybe they thought your life depended on their approval. Maybe they believed you were weak enough to stay broken. But God said, I will use the very thing that hurt you to elevate you. And here's something powerful. The person who wounded you did not realize they were accidentally pushing you toward your purpose. Their rejection became your protection. Their betrayal became your breakthrough. Their abandonment became your alignment with God's plan. You don't see the full picture yet, but you will. There will come a moment, sooner than you expect, when you will look back and say, if that person didn't leave me, I wouldn't be here. If that door didn't close, I wouldn't have grown. If that heartache didn't happen, I would have stayed blind. You lost someone, but you didn't lose yourself. And that is the beginning of your elevation. God allowed the betrayal not to break you, but to separate you, so He could prepare you for what is coming next. This is not the chapter where you fall. This is the chapter where God removes everything that could have ruined your future quietly and perfectly behind your back. Your story is not ending. It's being cleansed.
There was a moment after the betrayal, after the heartbreak, after the disappointment, when you genuinely felt like you were done. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You reached that quiet place where your heart whispered, "I can't take anymore." Maybe you didn't tell anyone. Maybe you pretended to be okay. Maybe you smiled in front of people, but cried when the door closed. Maybe you went to work, did your duties, took care of everything, but inside you were slowly collapsing. No one knew how close you were to giving up, but God knew. And at the exact moment when the enemy whispered, "See, they're finished," God whispered back, "No, this is where I rebuild them." You see, the enemy can wound you, but only God decides your ending. People can walk away, but only God determines your destiny. Someone can break your heart, but only God can shape your future. And while the enemy celebrated what he thought was your downfall, God was already preparing your comeback. This is something most people will never understand. Your lowest moment was not a sign of weakness. It was a sign of transition. God often allows you to reach the end of your strength so you can step into His strength. When you were laying awake at night, replaying everything in your mind, God was healing parts of you didn't even know were bleeding. When you were crying silently, hoping no one noticed, God was collecting every tear. When you felt like you couldn't breathe from the weight you were carrying, God was lifting what you didn't have the power to release. They thought the pain would break you, but God used it to wake you to your worth, wake you to your calling, wake you to your identity, wake you to who you really are. The enemy wanted you to drown, but God used the water to cleanse you. The enemy wanted you to burn, but God used the fire to refine you. The enemy wanted you to fall, but God used the fall to teach you how to rise stronger. This is why people will be shocked when they see what God is about to do in your life, because they have no idea what you survived. They don't know the nights you cried. They don't know the prayers you whispered. They don't know the battle happening in your spirit. They don't know the strength it took just to keep going. But God knows. God saw. God carried. God restored. And now, the same people who thought you were finished, who thought you were too broken, too defeated, too wounded to stand again, will watch God elevate you in ways they never expected. Your story is not over. Your strength is returning. Your purpose is awakening. And what God is building in you cannot be touched, blocked, or stopped by anyone. This chapter is where God proves everyone wrong. They thought they broke you. They thought they silenced you. They thought they stopped you. But what they didn't know is this: God was preparing a table, and your name was on it. There are seasons God hides you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. And while you're wondering why certain people walked away, why certain doors closed, why certain relationships suddenly died, God was arranging your elevation. Because the table He is preparing for you, not everyone who started with you is allowed to sit there. Sometimes God removes people because they would have ruined the blessing. Sometimes He blocks opportunities because they would have distracted your destiny. Sometimes He lets people misunderstand you, judge you, even hurt you, so later He can show them who you truly are. This is why you had to go through moments of isolation. This is why you had to walk alone for a while. This is why people didn't clap for you, didn't support you, didn't believe in you. Because God was setting the stage for a moment that would silence every doubt spoken about you. You see, when God prepares a table, it's not an ordinary table. It's a table of honor, a table of restoration, a table of vindication, a table where the very people who look down on you will watch God lift you. Not because you wanted revenge, but because God wanted to reveal His hand on your life. There are people who thought your painful season was permanent. There were people who thought your silence meant defeat. There were people who thought the chapter of your struggle was the whole book. But God is about to show them the part they never saw coming. Your rise. The rise that wasn't created by people, but by heaven. The rise that wasn't built by applause, but by prayer. The rise that wasn't powered by ego, but by grace. The rise that wasn't shaped by what they did, but by what God is doing. And hear me, sometimes God will let them see your elevation, not to shame them, but to demonstrate His faithfulness in your life. Because when God lifts you, no one can deny it. Not the ones who doubted you, not the ones who hurt you, not even the ones who tried to stop you. When God opens a door, people can talk. They can criticize, they can whisper, but they can't close it. And when God seats you at a table He prepared, no one can push you out of that chair. You are stepping into a season where God Himself is going to honor you, where God Himself is going to elevate you, where God Himself is going to reveal the truth about who you really are. Your pain was not pointless. Your tears were not wasted. Your isolation was not accidental. It was all preparation for the moment when God says, "Now, sit at the table I made for you."
There comes a moment in every believer's life. A moment when heaven leans in. A moment when the story that was going against you suddenly begins to work for you. And Irfan Bhai, that moment is closer than you think, because God is about to flip the script of your life. The very things that were used to belittle you will become the things God uses to lift you. The same people who said you would never rise will watch you rise higher than they ever expected. The same place where you were rejected will be the place God showcases your victory. You see, for a long time, it felt like life was writing against you. The chapters were filled with hardship, silence, and confusion. People took advantage of your kindness. They misunderstood your intentions. They walked over your loyalty like it meant nothing. And maybe you thought, is this really my life? Is this really my story now? But listen, God never hands the pen to your enemies. They might have spoken, but they didn't write the ending. They may have wounded you, but they don't decide the outcome. Only God does. And when God writes, He writes redemptively. He writes victoriously. He writes beautifully. He writes stories that make people stare in disbelief and say, "This has to be God." There were seasons when God let you lose, not because you were weak, but because He was removing the wrong players from your storyline. There were seasons where God allowed delays, not because He forgot you, but because the blessing wasn't ready yet. And there were seasons where God let you be underestimated, so that when He elevates you, no one could take credit for it. Your story is about to shift, and the shift will be so sudden, so divine, so undeniable, that even your enemies will say, "Only God could have done this." They thought your setback was permanent, but God is about to use that setback as the opening scene of your comeback. They thought your pain would break you, but God is about to use it as the proof of your anointing. They thought you were finished, but God is about to reveal that you were only getting started. When God flips the script, the last become first. The forgotten become chosen. The underestimated become unstoppable. And the broken become beautifully restored. Your tears did not disqualify you, they positioned you. Your heartbreak did not destroy you, it deepened you. Your silence did not weaken you, it strengthened your spirit. And now, God is turning the page. A new chapter, a new season, a new level of elevation, a new kind of blessing that no one will be able to deny. Your story is not ending in defeat.
It is turning into a testimony so powerful that even those who hurt you will be silenced by the greatness of God displayed in your life. Get ready. God is flipping the script. And the next chapter, it's the one you've been praying for.
There is something powerful, deep, almost frighteningly accurate about the way God works behind the scenes. You didn't see what people said behind your back. You didn't hear the conversations they had about you. You didn't know the intentions they carried in silence, but God did. And this is the scene where God begins to expose what was hidden. Not to embarrass anyone, not to make you bitter, not to stir revenge, but to protect you, to set you apart, to prepare you for elevation. For months, maybe even years, you sensed something wasn't right, a heaviness you couldn't explain, a discomfort around certain people, a tension in your spirit that didn't match their words. They smiled in your face, but something felt off. They clapped for you, but something felt fake. They stayed close to you, but something felt dangerous. And you kept asking, God, show me what I'm not seeing. He heard you, and He is answering that prayer now. This is your season of exposure. People who pretended to love you will reveal their jealousy. People who acted like they supported you will expose their true motives. People who walked with you casually will show that they were never walking with you, they were watching you. God is pulling the curtain back, not to break your heart, but to free your heart. Not to punish them, but to protect you. You see, God is not just elevating you, He is cleaning the atmosphere around you so nothing toxic rises with you. He knows the level you're going to. He knows the blessing that's coming. He knows the spotlight that will fall on your life, and He knows certain people cannot go with you because they would poison the blessing. God sees conversations you never heard. He sees betrayal you never noticed. He sees envy that people hid behind compliments. He sees competition that people hid behind friendship. He sees manipulation that was disguised as concern. So He is revealing it, slowly, gently, but clearly. A message that feels strange, a reaction that feels cold, a behavior that shifts suddenly, a truth that comes out of nowhere. It's not coincidence. It's God showing you exactly who is who, so your heart is not broken on the level He is about to take you to. Exposure is protection. Exposure is direction. Exposure is elevation. God is not exposing people so you can hate them. He is exposing them so you can release them. Because where He is taking you, your circle must be pure. Your atmosphere must be clean, your spirit must be light, your mind must be focused. The next chapter of your life is too sacred to carry hidden enemies. And when God exposes, He also replaces. He removes the wrong ones and He sends the right ones. He clears the room, then fills it with the people who will celebrate you genuinely, support you sincerely, and stand with you truthfully. Don't be afraid of what God is showing you. He is not trying to scare you. He is trying to prepare you. Let go of who He reveals. Trust who He brings. And remember, exposure always comes before elevation.
There comes a moment, a turning point, a divine shift, when God says, "Now I will show them who you truly are." Not to embarrass anyone, not to make you proud, but to justify the tears you cried, the silence you kept, the kindness you showed, and the patience you carried when they tried to break you. This is that moment. This is the scene where God begins to lift you, and what makes this moment powerful is not just the elevation, but who will witness it. The ones who mocked you will see you rise. The ones who doubted you will see you shine. The ones who left you behind will see God place you ahead. Not because you asked for revenge, not because you prayed for their downfall, but because you remained humble, because you kept your heart clean, because you chose peace over retaliation, because you trusted God's timing even when it felt painfully slow. Elevation is not a reward, it is a testimony of what God can do with someone who didn't quit, even when life felt unbearable. People overlooked you because they only saw your present, but God sees your potential. People judged you because they only saw your mistakes, but God sees your growth. People dismissed you because they thought you were small, but God sees the giant inside you, waiting for the right moment. And that moment is now. God is about to lift you in such a way that even those who tried to dim your light will be forced to admit, God's hand is on them. Your name will be mentioned in rooms you've never entered. Your work will travel to places your feet haven't stepped yet. Doors you once knocked on will open themselves. Opportunities you begged for will now chase you. People who ignored you will now say, "Can we talk?" But pay attention. This elevation is not just physical. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's mental. It's financial. It's relational. God is lifting your self-worth, your confidence, your peace, your stability, your influence. You suffered quietly. Now you will shine publicly. You cried in private. Now God will honor you openly. You were underestimated. Now God will make you unforgettable. And here's the most powerful part. The same people who hurt you will witness your healing. The same people who doubted you will witness your breakthrough. The same people who tried to bury you will witness your blooming. God is not elevating you to make you arrogant. He is elevating you to make people aware. You cannot destroy someone God protects. You cannot stop someone God promotes. You cannot curse someone God has blessed. Your elevation is God's message, a message of justice, vindication, protection, and purpose. So, don't shrink. Don't apologize for growing. Don't dim your light to make anyone comfortable. God lifted you, not them. Walk confidently, walk gracefully, walk humbly, but walk like someone who knows God opened this door. And this is only the beginning. The rise will be higher. The blessing will be louder. The glory will be greater. Let them watch. Let God work. And let your story speak.
There comes a moment in every believer's life when the pain finally makes sense, when the tears suddenly connect, when the rejection doesn't feel like rejection anymore. It feels like alignment. It feels like redirection. It feels like God's protection wrapped in disappointment. This is that moment for you. Because in this final chapter, God is not just lifting you, He's establishing you. He's sealing what He started. He's completing the circle that the enemy tried so hard to break. This scene is not about them watching you rise. This scene is about you becoming the person God always knew you were. Listen closely. Every night you cried alone, God saw it. Every time you bit your tongue instead of fighting back, God recorded it. Every time you showed love to someone who gave you pain, God honored it. Every time you chose peace over revenge, God remembered it. You didn't realize it then, but your silence was worship. Your patience was a seed. Your kindness was a weapon. Your heartbreak was a doorway.
Your suffering was shaping you for exactly this level of elevation. Now watch what happens next. God is about to take the very places where you were broken and make them the places where you shine. He is turning old wounds into new wisdom. He is turning heartbreak into compassion. He is turning humiliation into honor. He is turning abandonment into assignment. You are not rising to prove anything. You are rising because you survived everything. You are rising because God is ready to reveal the strength He put inside you long before the world tried to break you. The people who hurt you will see a version of you they never believed was possible. But you won't rise with bitterness. You'll rise with grace. You'll rise with calmness. You'll rise with a healed heart that no longer needs validation. Because elevation hits different when it comes from God, not from people. And listen, your blessing won't look like theirs. Your timing won't match theirs. Your story won't be similar to theirs. Why? Because God didn't write you a chapter. He wrote you a destiny. And now that destiny is unfolding right in front of the eyes of those who once doubted you. The enemy tried to break you, but God is about to use you. The world tried to bury you, but God is about to announce you. People tried to dim you, but God is about to display you. This is elevation with purpose. This is promotion with protection. This is blessing with glory. And as this final scene ends, hear this clearly. The ones who hurt you, they were only the introduction, but you are the story. Your growth is the story. Your breakthrough is the story. Your healing is the story. Your comeback is the story. And God is the author. So walk forward with your head high, your heart clean, your spirit strong, and your eyes fixed on God, because the next season is not just your rise, it is your reveal. Before this day ends, whisper this: Lord, lift me in your timing and make my life a testimony of your goodness. If this message touched your heart, type Amen and share this video with someone who needs hope today.